So after coming back from camp, sleeping in one piece, sleeping on the US silver sides, and getting bit up by a whole bunch of mosquitoes, as I promised, I'd make a new video. So, welcome to tutorial 40. And what we're going to be working on today is displacements. So, what a displacement is, in layman's terms, is it's bumpy ground. I'll show you in my new map, BHL Sylvan, what the displacements can achieve. So basically, in real life, dirt is dirt, it forms, it bumps, it does stuff. So what you see here on this bumpy ground are displacements. If I go to wireframe, you can see on the ground in front of me here all these white lines that almost form stars or triangles. These are displacements. And what you can do with displacements is pretty simple and straightforward. They're used for dirt, cliffs, and anything that would need a bumpy face to it. Like I have cliffs here. So I'm going to show you, to my best knowledge, of how to use, create, and manipulate displacements. So I'm just going to save my map here. Alright. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create a brush. We're just going to create a simple grass displacement. You make the brush where you want. And now you want to select the face edit sheet. To those of you who don't know what this is, it's this little brown, blue, and green box over on the left side. And you just want to left click on the top face here, which is the top one. Go to displacement and click create. Now you'll get displacement create. It will be power, default is 3, you can go 2 through 4. Now I'll show you what each of these look like here. Going to apply a grass texture here. So now we have our grass. It's still flat because we haven't manipulated it yet, but you see these white lines here. What these white lines are basically showing us is this is what can be manipulated. If you go to power, change it to 3, you'll see there are more white lines now, and 4 even more so. So the higher the power, the more detail you can fit into it. And elevation raises it up or lowers it down, and scale will scale it up or down. So just remember, you want to use higher or lower displacements depending on what you need. The higher the power, though, the more costly the displacement will be and putting more strain on rendering your map. So that's a little bit right there for you. And now after you have your displacement created, you want to go to Paint Geometry. You'll get this new window that pops up. And it's pretty straightforward here. We have Axis, Face Normal. This is what you'll mainly use for grass. You want Raise / Lower and Spatial, whatever that is. And you can choose hard edge or soft edge. Usually you just stick with soft edge because that's what you need. Radius is pretty obvious. You'll see that whenever I go on one of these points, I get a little green ball type thing, and if I were to increase radius, the ball gets bigger. Distance changes how much every time I click the displacement gets manipulated. And to paint it, all you need to do, or paint it or manipulate it, all you need to do is left click or right click. Left click will make the displacement morph in the direction that the arrow is facing. Right click will make it go the opposite direction. So that's pretty much all you need to do to get bumpy ground that looks like grass. And let's say that you just go crazy and you make something a little too high. There's this smooth button here. You click smooth, turn your radius up a little bit, click it a couple times, and it will smooth out the terrain. So typically to get good, nice, realistic bumpy ground, you do that. It'll smooth it out. So that's the basis for what you'll need to know for all of the upcoming parts of this tutorial. There will be multiple parts because we'll be teaching a lot here. So the next thing I'm going to teach is how to paint the alpha of a displacement. So you can paint this, raise and lower and stuff. So you might notice that in Sacius Militia, the ground fades from one to another. How you do this is you achieve this with a blend texture. So typically in the filter you search for blend, and you'll usually get textures that look like one and then they gradient into another. This is a blend texture. Some of them do not have the gradient, but they typically all have blend in them. So I'm going to go to a normal texture here. Here we go. Here's one. You apply that to the face. Now you see it changed. Now it's just one texture. Go to Displacement, select it, and hit Paint Alpha. Now we have value 25, and it'll go all the way through 255, because that's how alpha works. It's 0 through 255. So, if you click once somewhere, it will add alpha to that area, and it will gradient in the rest. See here? Now it gradients into this other texture that I have. So, if you want to flip it, all you do is you hit invert alpha, and it will flip it for you. So that's the basis to that. Now if you want to create one of these textures for blend, I'm just going to show you really quick how you would accomplish this. In the VMT for it, it's relatively simple. The base of all you need, what you need is, you need world vertex transition as the shader, you need base texture 1 and base texture 2. That's it, and the surface prop. That's all you need to do to create this. You put one texture on base texture 2 and another texture on base texture. Pretty simple, really easy to get along with, works great. So that's the basis for this. Come back in the next tutorial and the next part of this, and I'm going to show you how you can create a hole that kind of tunnels down a little bit.